When you first install WordPress, there are a number of settings that are already there for you, but you should double check them, and that's what we're going to do here. Now when you get to your dashboard initially, you go over to the left here and open up Settings, the very bottom here. These will only appear if you've got these plugins installed, so they wouldn't be there if you have a fresh installation of WordPress. So a lot of settings here, but really there's not a lot you have to worry about right off the bat. So there's your site title that you initially put into your installation, and then the tagline. Now this is what appears at the top right of the default 2010 theme. Notice I've changed mine here to be what I want, but by default it'll say this, just another WordPress site. And every once in a while you'll see somebody who's forgotten to change this, and you know they haven't checked their settings. So you want to go in there and make that your own tagline. These next two can be a little bit confusing because usually they're the same. But why have these two? Well, WordPress address. This is actually the location of your files. Now in this case, I've installed them in the root directory of my site. But if I'd put them in a folder, in a subdirectory, I would need to have that here in the URL. So then WordPress knows where to look for the files. My site address, that's what I want the public to see. That's going to be the place where the public goes to find the site. Alright, email address, again you entered this when you were creating the site. You can change it, of course, if you want. Don't worry about membership and user default roles. Time zone, you want to make sure it matches your city. There's a long list of cities from around the world there. Date format, probably you want to keep this way. Some people prefer other formats. Time format, again, a very basic one, but you can change it. Day of the week for starting things like calendars and so forth. You can switch that to Sunday if you want. Monday is the default. When you're all done here, don't forget, save your changes. Okay. Now there are plenty of other settings pages, like the writings page, but we don't have to worry about any of that right now. Some of this we'll be coming back to as we cover these particular topics. Reading settings, don't have to worry about those. Discussion. Now this has to do with commenting on your site. By default, people can comment on anything, posts, pages, whatever you create, they can comment on it. That's the default setting. Now, depends on your site. If a lot of your material warrants commenting, then you should probably leave this checked. However, if your site doesn't have very much that needs commenting, then you should uncheck this. Just have to think about the nature of your site. Now keep in mind, you can turn on commenting for any particular post or page. So if you've got this turned off and you do want comments, then you check comments for that particular post or page. And vice versa. If they're always turned on, you can turn them off individually. Most of the rest of this, again, is set up for basic installations. For instance, approval of comments. Now by default, you have to be approved the first time for a comment, but after that, this is saying you at least have to be approved once, and after that you can comment all you want. If you really want control, then you would check this box which says an administrator always has to approve a comment. But that's pretty drastic. And again, most of these settings are just fine for the average installation. Other ones here, we've got media. We won't worry about that right now. Privacy you're going to want to deal with when you've finished setting up your site. Remember, right now we've got search engines blocked. That means this privacy setting is like this. And we did that when we were setting up WordPress. Once you're finished setting up your site, then you would check this one, and then it would make it visible to search engines and so forth. Permalinks, that has to do with what your URLs look like. We will deal with that in a completely separate lesson.